Okay, and we are live. How awesome was that fireside chat? My name is Alanis Broussard, and I'm a GCAP member from Cherokee County, and I'm here to introduce the lovely two speakers we have next. I'm so excited about their message that they're going to give to us. We have first Dr. Jeffrey Guidry, recently retired from Texas A&M University, 5 years of research, teaching, and service. He has been conducting local evaluations for numerous projects for the past 30 years, which includes working for Change Happens. They include competitive prep, abstinence education programs, sexual risk avoidance education, and teen pregnancy prevention programs. And he strongly believes the youth must be a part of the planning, implementation, and evaluation of sex education programs. Then on the other hand, Ms. Lauren Harris is the program coordinator for helping youth prevent engaging in risky behaviors, or HYPE 3.0 teen pregnancy prevention program at Change Happens in Houston, Texas. She has done extensive research on the effectiveness of teen pregnancy prevention programs, maternal and child health disparities, and social determinants of health. As a national award-winning mentor, speaker, and advocate, Ms. Harris is passionate and determined on including youth and community members in the process of executing successful community interventions. I want to give you guys as much time as possible. This sounds like an amazing message, so I'm really excited for you guys, and please welcome both of them.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us. I'll go ahead and pull up the screen share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, they can see it now.
Okay, great. All righty. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. Thank you again for introducing us. Again, my name is Lauren Harris.
And I'm Dr. Jeff Guidry.
And this is our presentation on engaging youth in evaluating sex education programs. So this is going to be a great time. We're going to go in depth about our teen pregnancy prevention program and how we include youth in the evaluation process. So first, we would like to acknowledge that we are grant funded. This publication was made possible by a grant by the Office of Population Affairs. The contents are solely the responsibility of the owner and do not necessarily represent the official views of the Department of Health and Human Services or the Office of Population Affairs. So, y'all, with all this COVID-19 going on, everybody's been cooped up in the house. You know, we've been listening to webinars all day. This is about to be a great time. So we would actually like to start off with an icebreaker. So what we'd like for you all to do is to please pick a question. After you pick a question, you can either unmute yourself or type your response into the chat box. Some of the questions include: what is something new you've learned since March? Do you prefer working or learning from home? What is the most random thing that you've done since March? And what do you think our new normal will look like? So, Dr. Guidry, I can't see the chat box because the presentation is up on the screen. All right.
Okay, come on now. Start typing your answers. Don't everyone start at the same time.
You know what, Dr. Guidry, I think I would like to start actually by giving one of mine.
Okay,
great. Do you prefer working or learning from home? Well, me personally, when it comes to telecommuting, at first, telecommuting definitely needed some getting used to, but I've definitely warmed up to it, actually, like me and all of my extrovertedness. So I actually wouldn't mind telecommuting in addition to going to the office. What about yourself?
Here's from Molly Schwartz. Most random thing I've done was cut 6 inches off my hair. Okay. Asher Sprinkles, working from home has its pros and cons. Another one from LaCar Simmons, random thing, I bought more books over the process. I prefer working out and about. The virtual world is not here as much fun for me. Juliet Satterley. Ebony Johnson, I enjoy and appreciate having access to so many online activities. William Carroll, learning how to silence my mind and focus on self-development practices. Daniela Thorne, I learned that if there are cookies in my workspace, I'm going to finish them all. And Tanya Bryan, random took my beach chair out of my truck and went to Cuba in my front yard. Two-piece ocean waves, music and all. Cool. Ashley Sprinkles, I could work 50-50 home and office. Danette Craig, download learning app for Spanish. Mind challenging. Juanita Davis, I planted my first garden.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Deborah Sarrett, random, I cut my husband's hair. Gabrielle Darville, walking 2 to 3 miles each day.
Nice.
Hold on. And my husband and I finished installing some skylights in our house. Picking up cycling, purchased all new biking gear. All right, that's it.
All right.
Great.
All righty. Well, listen, y'all, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so very much for joining us today. You know, we wanted to just break the ice. If you ever have any questions for Dr. Guidry or myself throughout the presentation, just put them in the chat box and we'll get right with you. All right, Dr. Guidry, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do this. So we'd just like to introduce ourselves to you all. So again, my name is Lauren Harris. I'm the program coordinator of the HYPE 3.0 Teen Pregnancy Prevention Program located in Houston, Texas. I have my master's of public health and community health practice. So health promotion and disease prevention, especially minority populations, is my personal passion. And yeah, I'm a mentor. I love volunteering, and this is just a joy for me to include youth in what I do.
Okay, and Ms. Broussard did a great introduction about both Lauren and I both, but I just want to add that most of my research has dealt with health disparities and looking at teen pregnancy prevention, looking at cancer prevention and control in different communities of that sort. So, and I love working with students. I love working with youth because you are our future. So we got to train you great.
Absolutely. And this is where you can find us. So Change Happens is a community-based nonprofit organization in Houston, Texas. It was founded in 1989. And fun fact, Change Happens is actually one of the largest minority-founded nonprofits in the whole Gulf Coast area. Our mission is to empower people to help themselves, and we have over 18 different programs. So if you'd like to learn more about Change Happens, please go to changehappenstx.org. As for the HYPE 3.0 program, the HYPE 3.0 program is one of the programs at the nonprofit of Change Happens. We are a grant-funded teen pregnancy prevention program. We serve teens all throughout Harris County, which is like, we're in the city of Houston, but Harris County is all, like, it expands even outside of the city of Houston. It's actually one of the largest counties in the United States. And we serve teens ages 14 through 19 years old. The curriculum that we use for our intervention is the Love Notes EBP curriculum. And one thing that we also do, in addition to just going to schools and teaching kids about sex ed, we also send text messages to their parents. We link the students to different resources in the community, whether they need doctor's appointments or if they need clothing or food, especially in this time of COVID-19. We're just here to help y'all live your best life. Okay, can somebody put in the chat, live my best life?
Okay, great.
All righty, so let's get into it. So exactly what is program evaluation? So according to the CDC, program evaluation is the systematic assessment of operation and or outcomes of a program or policy, compared to a set of explicit or implicit standards as a means of contributing to the improvement of the program or policy. So that's the fancy terminology for it. If I were to ask some of the teens that we work with, what is program evaluation in your perspective? Something that they would say maybe program evaluation is looking at different aspects of the program to identify improvements and make sure it's effective.
Right. Great. And I just want to add and thank Marcus Strickland, Danette Craig, and LaCara saying, yes, living my best life. So we got that in the chat line that's what it's all about.
All right. Okay, cool. And look, Dr. Guidry, especially you as a researcher and evaluator, you know, look, good program evaluation is living your best life.
That's right. And keep your program funded.
Yeah, look, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So, how do we evaluate the HYPE 3.0 program? So this is a picture of us live in action during one of our parent night events at one of our implementation sites. So just some different ways that we evaluate the HYPE 3.0 program. We have direct observations. We have a youth advisory council. We have different focus groups, the completion and analysis of fidelity logs. We do a retention analysis, a dosage analysis, and we also have pre and post assessments.
Okay. Great. And I'm going to go in and start and go into a little more detail. On the direct observations, one of the most important things that we do are observing, like doing the observations of the facilitators, evaluations take place, and looking at student engagement and interactions during the implementation. So basically, when we're doing the observations, the youth are so much of an important cornerstone of our observations, because we have to look at them and see, hey, how they interact and how they engaging with the facilitators. So that's one of our most important components of looking at observing and evaluating the program. Now, the second one is Youth Advisory Council, and I want Lauren to take that one since she had such a great meeting the other day. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, we had a good old time. It's a good time with us. Okay. So one of our partner sites is TSU Upward Bound, and I'm sure they have different Upward Bound programs all over the country. Mm-hmm. So definitely look into where your local Upward Bound program is in your city. But we partnered up with the Upward Bound, and we actually just had one of our youth advisory councils yesterday, and it was a great time. We got a chance to ask teens about what is their perspective. Like, hold on, I have my notes right here. We got a chance to ask teens about, what's their perspective when it comes to things that they want to see, during a teen pregnancy prevention program. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're here to deliver curriculum, but we always want to go above and beyond to help the teens to achieve the goals that they have for themselves, health-wise, academic-wise, and in their families and within their communities. So we definitely got we got some great feedback from them about some different things that they would like to do. We do have social media, so they gave us some insight on different social media posts that we can do. They're very interested in learning about other things as well, like surprising or not so surprisingly, but the students want to, even in addition to teen pregnancy prevention, they want to learn more about managing money. They want to learn about career readiness. They want to learn about tutoring resources, scholarships to go to college. And as you know, all of these are protective factors against teen pregnancy. So however we can help, we're definitely here for it. And we would love to partner up with different organizations in order to bring these resources to the students that we serve.
Okay, that's good, Lauren. And that's a good lead in to the next methodology we use is focus groups. And focus groups is what I love to do those. And I like to do them gender-based because sometimes, whether the male or females, you probably have somebody that's like a little overpowering. So we do them by gender, and we've gotten great information on different components and feedback on the program, satisfaction, and what type of program components. And you will be surprised, audience, that in those focus groups, those youth are able to give verbatim what are the components of the program. So that's awesome. So we get that feedback. Next slide, please.
Yes, and just in addition to that, Dr. Guidry, it also shows the mastery of the students, you know, that we're effective in our jobs too.
Then we have pre and post assessments where we go in and do, I know the students are like, yeah, those pre-tests and post-tests, but they're so important because we're able to gain knowledge and information on your master, like Lauren mentioned, the mastery of the materials. So we're able to look at what points and information that we may need to emphasize later on, and what areas that we may not need to stress as much, because from the pre to the post, the most important component is the most important component, of course, is the student's response to that. We have a question from Dr. Danielle Thorpe. Where do students who don't identify with male or female go? Very interesting. In our focus group, they still, we had some LGBTQ students in our female focus groups, and so they, of course, initially identified as female. But that's very important, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the groups that we're going to be working with even more specifically in the coming year. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And one of the ideas that we actually got from the youth council yesterday is that the youth are actually interested in having like different like meetings about, you know, just going in depth on other topics in relation to, you know, like healthy relationships and teen pregnancy prevention. And they want to have like teen talk is what we're going to call it. Like they want to have, you know, kind of like a section that's more feminine and one that's more masculine. What we're going to do, we're going to let the students decide on which program, or excuse me, on which meeting they'd like to go to, you know? So for the more so masculine focus group, it's going to be led by one of our male health educators. And for one of our more feminine focus groups, it's going to be held by one of our female health educators. And we'll let the students decide on which one they feel more comfortable.
And that's so important, like Dr. Thorne just mentioned, self-identified. And so that's very much for them to identify. And we have another question about retention. And the next one is retention analysis. It's where we learn how to keep students in the program, identify resources and other components to maintain their interest level and also to maintain their participation. Now, one of the things we do with retention is we incentivize, and we provide an incentive at the end if they participated in the program at least 75%. Which is our goal from the Office of Public Affairs. So we do that retention. So we do incentives, we do talkbacks for them to give us information on what will maintain their interests and in the program throughout the intervention. Okay, yes. The next one is dosage analysis, where we track those participation for each session. We look at that for the students. And as I mentioned above, the golden number, 75%. Of the students have to complete the intervention for it to be considered completed. So that's very important. And the last thing we have is completion analysis of fidelity logs. So the facilitators complete the fidelity logs based on their interaction with the youth. So once again, it's their engagement with the youth, and sometimes they have to change things. Of course, they have to be minimal. And so we have to look at that. So we have another question. Great, and Danette Craig said, great, Lauren, freedom to choose, the way you were explaining the masculinity and the feminine. And then what kind of incentives are offered? Lauren, you can talk about those.
Yes, so the incentives that we offer, so we serve 1,000 youth every year, and we give each youth at their post survey. So this youth take a pre-assessment, a post-assessment, and a 6-month follow-up. We want to know what the students know going in, what they've learned from our program, and what they've retained 6 months afterwards. So the students get a $10 gift card, usually to like a fast food, like Chick-fil-A. We did it for like the last cohort. So the students get a $10 gift card to somewhere, basically just somewhere where they cannot buy alcohol or tobacco. So usually it is like fast food. So we gave them a gift card during their post-assessment and during their 6-month follow-up assessment.
Right. And then we have another comment there from Dr. Thorne about 1,000. That's awesome. Yes, it's awesome. But Lauren can tell you it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that she was able to overcome. Lauren, how do you maintain 1,000?
Yes. We have a lot of partnerships with the different school districts in the city of Houston, you know, not just with the school districts, but also charter schools. Charter schools are your friends, and also different community groups. Like I said, TSU Upward Bound is one of our great partners. You all, some other partnership ideas. Oh, we also have a partnership with Boys and Girls Club of Greater Houston. So you all can partner up with Boys and Girls Club, different mentoring organizations like Big Brothers, Big Sisters. One of our other partnering organizations is a boys residential treatment. You know, you can also reach out to, you know, like different residential treatment centers, basically wherever youth are, like wherever the youth are that's in your targeted population. You can definitely go there. Just let them know about the program. Y'all are here to have a good time with them. Give them a schedule of like the different sessions that you want to do. Let them know, listen, the kids will be incentivized. This isn't boring. It'll be a good time. And, you know, they will definitely work with you, especially, and we have another slide on what we're doing for COVID-19. But for anybody else who's also a grantee and you're giving an evidence-based curriculum, check with the curriculum developer to see what kind of plans they have for COVID-19, because I know with our curriculum developer, since our curriculum was designed and evaluated to be proven effective in person, since we're about to switch to virtual implementation, we're able to shorten our lessons. Now, we're still going to hit the hot topics. We're still going to get to the meat of things, but they would be condensed from like 45 minutes to an hour to about like 20 minutes or so. Okay. So definitely, yes. So that's definitely a major key, especially in this time of COVID-19, and especially if you want to retain youth, and especially when it comes to like their attention spans and stuff like that. 20 minutes is kind of like the sweet spot. Right.
So Lauren, we got a good question from Antoinette Jones. Was it a challenge to obtain evaluations for your 6-month span? So the 6-month follow-up? Yes.
Yes, and that's only because of COVID-19. Everything was going just fine. We were not able to, and we told our grant funders about it already, like they're working with us, but, you know, we weren't able to get back in contact with the previous students because, you know, the schools were abruptly closed. But going forward, that shouldn't typically be an issue, because 6 months from now, if we start the program in the fall semester, the students would still be at their same schools typically in the spring semester. So it's never usually an issue.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead. You can transfer to the next slide and talk about COVID, and then we can take questions because I think we're about 12 minutes out.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Guidry. Okay, so this is that slide that I was telling you all about. So this is our response to the COVID-19 aftermath. So we have created a student and parent needs assessment. So we understand that the work that we do, you know, with teen pregnancy prevention is important. However, people are going through much bigger things right now, you know, with job loss, you know, lack of access to health care. People need food, groceries, you know, even free legal support. So what we've done is we've created a student and parent needs assessment, because we don't want to just give people information and they need information about something different. We want to understand what they need information about. So we've created a student and parent needs assessment that we've distributed to the different schools that we worked with, the different school administrators, and the school administrators will pass them along to the students. We also, as a part of our grant, we have a parent component called the Talk, Listen, Connect program, in which we send text messages to the parents in our program. So we've been sending text messages out to the parents as well. And we've also created a master resource list. And that resource list includes different places where students and families can find free food, free groceries, hot meals. They can find free clothes. They can find access to job assistance and workforce development. They can find access to, you know, free legal support and local clinics in their area, FQHCs. So we've created that resource list, and we've also distributed that amongst our schools that we work with in our community sites.
Great. And we also have provided access to technology too, where we provided the Amazon Fire tablets to program participants who need access. And we're also working with different organizations and partner with them to provide access. And that's a big issue across the entire city. That's an issue across the entire city of Houston. So the school district is working to do that because we have so many homes, like in your location too, where the kids do not have access to Wi-Fi or computer technology. And the last one is virtual implementation. Go ahead, Lauren. We got 5 more minutes, and we got a couple more questions. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So with virtual implementation, like I said, so we're in the process of receiving. So you have to receive permission from your grant funder in order to change the scope of your program. For example, we went in saying that we're going to do in-person programs in the schools XYZ. Now that everything's gone virtual, we need to request permission to also go virtual. So before you all do anything when it comes to virtual implementation, please contact your grant funder, your project officer, and also contact the creator of the curriculum that you're using, and then go forward.
Great. So we also have a question about, do you see repeat participants or participants who want to have continued involvement in the program? And that's why, Lauren, and we developed the Youth Council, because the Youth Council is a place where they can continue to be involved in the program and watch the program grow and watch the different components of it. Now, what else is very interesting that change happens is there are other programs like Hype 2.0 and other programs, teen pregnancy prevention programs that the participants can go through. So they have that as a resource too.
Yes, absolutely. And if they ever need to get in contact with us, we also have a social worker on our staff who is a youth risk assessment specialist. And if the students ever need any further resources or anything like that, we can definitely stay in contact with them and their parents.
Great. So we got about 3 more minutes. Come on. Any questions on the chat? Or comments on the chat line?
Oh, and please follow us on social media. This is our Instagram and our Facebook. Please, please, please follow us on social media. I also put the contact information for Dr. Guidry and myself. If you all ever have any questions for us, if you want us to go a little bit more in depth on like certain things that like we're doing with our grant, especially in light of COVID-19, please let us know.
Thank you. From Dr. Thorne, this is so informative. Thank you for your dedication to young people. You both were so engaging. Thank you so much. This has been great. Thanks so much, Lauren and Dr. Guidry. I'm coming to visit you all in Texas. Please come. We'll be there. Good information. Thank you so much for informative and interesting presentation, Antoinette Jones. Thank you. Yes, please come to Texas. Well, they're opening up different segments, so we'll see what happens with all that based on COVID.
Yes. But thank you all so much again for your time and attention. If you want to write down or take a picture of the screen so that you know how to get in contact with Dr. Guidry and I and how to continue to follow up with the Hype 3.0 program, please do so at this time. And thank you all for coming.
Okay.
Thank you all so much. This was very informative and very much needed, especially the information you all shared about transitioning during this time. So thank you all so much. And yes, I'm right there with Lakara. I'm ready to come to Texas. I'm just ready to go anywhere.
Anywhere. I know that's right.
So I know that we all are here virtually and we're probably at home. However, we did build in a 15-minute break. So our next session is at 3. So now is the time to maybe grab an afternoon snack, go to the restroom, visit the expo. We have 6 booths. Again, at top, if you see the people tab, there's chat, polls, and people. You can click there and find anyone that you've been connecting with in the chat and talk to them directly one-on-one. But please take advantage of this 15-minute break. We appreciate the nearly, a little bit over 100 people that's been here with us all morning today. So
all right, that is great.
And we'll be back at 3 o'clock for our next presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.